good to see everyone this morning, despite the weather challenges that we have. I want to say thank you to Keisha Drake and the folks here at Bradfield Center for allowing us to be invaded this morning. And we're going to start with, because we're waiting on Chief Martin, we're going to start with some of the other topics this morning that are on the agenda. I want to begin with Nick Moore, the president of El Rita. Nick is here to talk about this year's tech conference coming up in April. Nick?
So for those of you that don't know, the mayor started El Rita as an economic development project.
It is on, but it's not hooked to this. Go ahead and speak louder.
Okay. So for those not familiar with El Rita, the group was started back in 2008 as an economic development project for the city of Lima, Allen County by the mayor. Each year we hold a yearly technology conference. This event will be held on Thursday, April 14th at the Veterans Memorial Civic and Convention Center in downtown Lima, Ohio. This is the only technology conference of its scale in Northwest Ohio. Last year's event attracted over 200 participants. Our hope is that our event will continue to promote the professional growth and development of IT professionals in our community. Each year, we bring in a large number of vendors and sponsors that range from local businesses to global corporations. We will provide informative keynote speakers again and host a variety of educational sessions. I'm excited to announce our keynote presenter, Damian Sendeos. Damian holds the title of Quality Lead of Metrics and Reporting at a large Midwest bank. Damian will present improved testing, tips and tricks from jester to tester. During his presentation, attendees will learn how to improve their testing skills. As a new addition to the conference this year, we will be hosting a special closing presentation on cybersecurity. The presentation will be presented by the FBI in partnership with the Toledo InfraGard Members Alliance. During this presentation, attendees will learn how and why businesses are targeted. Early bird registration is only $10 for members and $20 for non-members. Registration includes lunch, breakfast, drinks and snacks throughout the day, with catering provided by Old Barn Out Back. For more information and to register online, please visit our updated website at www.elrita.org.
Thanks. El Rita has really been a terrific opportunity for bringing IT professionals together in our region, and this conference has grown year by year. I think the addition this year of the Federal Bureau of Investigation should add some spice to the entire discussion, and we might even have some cops show up as well. How much is registration, Nick?
It's just $10 for members.
$10. You guys can afford to come to these cybersecurity conferences as well. So thank you for that information. I'm sure Nick is going to be back as that date approaches as well with a reminder about the conference. This morning as well, we have members of the Housing Consortium here, Dan Faralia and Tim Hines, with information on a housing workshop that's been organized. Dan?
Well, good morning. As mentioned, my name is Dan Faralia. I am the chair of the Lima-Allen County Housing Consortium. And today we're talking about an opportunity for landlords, realtors, bankers, etc. We're co-sponsoring with the association that Tim's going to discuss a little more, an opportunity for CEUs for those folks. It's a collaboration with OFA. The Housing Consortium has actually agreed to financially provide lunch. It is February 24th from 9:30 to 3. It's at the Cambridge Center. You do have to register online, so that is through OFA as well. Okay, so I'll be sending out that information. If you'd like any information, I'll be around here afterwards. You're welcome to come and ask a question, any specifics. I have some flyers that I can send out as well. But the consortium is really dedicated towards collaborating to make sure the housing stock and housing quality increases. So I think this is just one more opportunity of us being able to do that. So I guess without further ado, I'll let Tim say a few words. Thank you.
Yeah, this is a great program OFA is presenting. It's on fair housing, and I'm here on behalf of the West Central Association Realtors. And every 3 years, we are required to have 30 hours of continuing education. And of those 30 hours, we have 9 hours with its core law, fair housing, and ethics. And this will take care of the fair housing part. As an association, our advocacy goal, we have a strategic plan. We're in the middle of a 3-year plan that we put together in 2015, implemented. And as an association, West Central Association, to be the leading advocate for private property rights and real property ownership. And that's what the fair housing, the CE, is going to entail. And it's a great program. The OFA is for first-time home buyers. It also has interest rates that are lower for Ohio heroes, which are those public servants like police officers and firefighters, public officials, teachers. And we also they have a program that's grants for grads. And that's for graduates that are graduating and getting into home ownership, wanting to buy a home. Also, home rehabilitation and repair and home weatherization. So the program is really excellent, and it's all about fair housing, and OFA does a great job. So really looking forward to it. There's 40 spots. There's 17 still available. So. Looked on the website this morning, so thank you. That's all I have.
The date again?
The date again is 2 weeks from today, Wednesday, and it's going to be at the Cambridge Center.
Very good. Thanks, Tim. Thank you very much. Vicki Sherelds is here from the Mizpah Center along with Councilman Derry Glenn concerning their water drive to benefit the city of Flint. Vicki?
Yes. Good morning, Mayor. Good morning, everyone. We have visuals. How about if we turn it so they can see it? There we go. I think that one of the things I'd like to say right at the beginning is that as we heard about the things that were happening in Flint, Michigan, I don't think there were any of us here in the Lima area that didn't think, well, therefore the grace of God go I. We think about how often you actually go to the sink and expect water to come out that you can use for yourself and your family, and how tragic it is if that is not available to you. And for us, most of the people that we work with at the Mizpah Community Center, we know what it's like to live without water for a variety of different reasons. And so I'm really proud of the fact that we are doing this. We're calling it our Bridge Over Troubled Water project, because Flint's not that far away from us. They really aren't, and so they are still our neighbors. And I think that we have a responsibility to show ownership as far as human beings, from one human being to another. And so Councilman Glenn approached us about maybe doing a partnership to collect water, and we've been having some great success, and I'd like him to share that with you.
First of all, I want to thank the Mizpah because it was great that we came together. We took care of home first because we had a mobile home, didn't have water. I got a phone call Saturday, and we made sure that we took care of them folks over there that needed water over there. And because people was calling and said, Derry, take care of home first. I said, yeah, we're going to take care. So my crew got out there. We passed out water to all the people that needed water and that. But I appreciate that. I got a call from one of my colleagues in college there. We all went to Central State together. And he was like, we need help. And I know a lot of water's coming in, but when you got over 50,000 people or more, and they need water around the clock. And I appreciate all these people showing their hometown pride. Companies calling us, people calling us, they're dropping water off. at the Miss Paul Community Center, and that's just a win-win that how Lima come together. And we still going to continue going. We still be delivering the water tomorrow. That's preventing the weather because they having some tough weather down there. So we're going to try to see how the weather go, and also we got more people calling us though. So I keep putting the date back because I want a trailer of water to take down there, and they're very happy about it. When I called down there, they was very happy that how everybody in the United States is helping. So with a little bit from Lima. We help out. We got Finley working on some things there. We was going to work a 75 highway contest. Who get the most water? Because we got everybody, all my fraternity brothers and the alumni from Central State, all us was calling one another up because we got a lot of folks down there. A lot of folks from Lima live there. They got kinfolks that live there, and this water is terrible. And this is not going to be my only time going down there. I'm going to be working on some things, trying to help the kids too. So I'm going to spend a couple days down there and work with some committees down there and see could we help with the food, because they're going to need food too. Some of these people are going to be losing their jobs because the cutbacks, because the water expense, because they'll need water to run their business. There's a lot of different restaurants down there and factories down there, and people don't trust the water. So we're going to try to hope and pray that they get something fixed temporarily coming right away soon. So we are getting a hold of their representatives and everybody down there and writing letters to help them out. And I tell people all the time that we're blessed that we are working very hard on our water problems here. We are trying to stay up on it. Our administration is staying on this big time. And that's the reason why you see all the digging in the street. Everybody was unhappy about a lot of different things there. People was upset about the price. But, this is what we're going to do. We're going to keep our water good, so our city be good. So I appreciate everyone. I can talk a long time.
I know. I took it away from Derry. I just want to remind everybody that we are going to be collecting the water the rest of the day. And our anticipation is to roll the water out tomorrow, but they can still drop it off at the Miss Paul. And I think the thing I'm most proud about is that even though we've had some companies come forward, it has really been the people of this community dropping off a case of water, or we had an elderly lady that brought in 2 jugs of water, and it's just they're giving straight from their heart, all of those, because we all know you never know when it could be us. So we appreciate the help of everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. We're open until 6 o'clock tonight. Okay? All right. Thank you.
Good luck with the effort. Also, Connie Horning is here representing LACNIP, and Connie is a spark plug for each year's International Expo.
Thank you, Mayor Berger. I have 2 quick announcements this morning. The first one involves food. Temple Beth Israel Sharazetic just had our Super Bowl Sunday corned beef carryout sale on Sunday. We have about 20 pounds, well, actually 20 packages of corned beef left for sale. They are 20 ounces, so 1 1/4 pounds for $14. And we also have about 150 brownies left, which were delicious and baked by Baked to Perfection in Delphus, and some sauerkraut left and some packets of mustard. If anybody wants to buy any of these items this week, call me at 419-999-6242. And I'm hoping to be able to sell the rest of everything. We made over 835 lunches and sold over 40 pounds of corned beef extra and made a lot of money on that fundraiser. So thank you to all of those in Lima who purchased that and had Super Bowl parties with our food. My second announcement involves LACNIP, the Lima Area Neighborhoods is the umbrella organization for all of the neighborhood associations. LACNIP is, and it's the Lima Allen County Neighborhoods in Partnership. Every year we've been doing a fundraiser for the last 9 years. This is our 10th annual International Expo. This is a beautiful event. It'll be held on Sunday, April 10th at Lima Senior High from 2 to 6 p.m. And at this early stage, we are still looking for other countries to be represented. And I think it's always a surprise realize to people who come how many different cultures are represented for people who have moved here from all over the world and are now living and working and contributing in Lima or in the Lima area. We're going to have some exotic entertainment this year coming from Columbus, some Japanese zither players. This is not just a little lap zither. They're 5 or 6 feet long. We're going to have the Ohio Northern African drummers and dancers are coming, and some interesting exotic entertainment. At this point, I only have about 6 or 7 countries who have confirmed that they're coming. We have quite a few on our list, but not everybody has gotten back to me. We are always looking for more cultures, and we don't know all the different people to contact in the community. So please contact me or Connie Dersham. My number is 419, again, 999-6242. And you can reach Connie Dersham at 419-221-5177 down in the county building, at the city building on the square, 50 Town Square. She's in community development and is the neighborhood specialist. So between the two of us, you can contact us if you would like to participate. We would love to have you. Thank you.
Thank you, Connie. This is a great event for our community, and takes a lot of work to begin the planning and the execution, but it's a terrific way of bringing folks together in our community and coming to know people that often are doing things kind of quietly in portions of our community that we just frankly don't know about. Lastly this morning is really the reason that we're here at Bradfield, and that's to discuss the opening of the third substation for community-oriented policing for the Lima Police Department. I want to invite up Chief Kevin Martin, and we have special guests as well. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor. And yes, again, we are very excited, even though it seems like we just went through this not too long ago at a different location, because we did. We are, again, though, very excited about opening up what is now our third neighborhood substation with our efforts to revitalize community policing in Lima. As the mayor mentioned, we do have a very special guest here today. It is a gentleman who I've learned a lot from over the many years that I've known him now. Of course, he probably doesn't prefer or doesn't like me saying many years because it makes him sound old. And when you see him come up here, you'll see that he and I have some things in common. One, we're about the same height, and he's maybe a little bit taller. And two, we both have very charming, boyish good looks. So, you know, I don't see anybody buying either one of those. But in all seriousness, Chief Harry Dolan, retired from the Raleigh, North Carolina Police Department, is here with us this week to actually help to, again, remind all of our officers, not just within LPD, but we have many coming from other agencies within the county as well, about the tenets or the importance of community policing. And just as I'm sure the Denver Broncos probably throughout their Super Bowl year this year we're continually being reminded of the fundamentals. As police officers, we need to be reminded of those fundamentals as well. And so with that, I'd like to ask Chief Dolan to come up here and say a few words.
Thank you, Chief. I did happen to have an occasion to watch his Dancing with the Stars audition, and I can't help to tell you how impressed I was with that, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be brief, but I just wanted to give you in a summary what type of training the officers are going through this week. It's a training that I helped provide for this agency back in 1993. The roots in community policing are very strong in Lima. We have budget crises around the country, as you have, and you keep coming back to the fundamentals and the basics, and that has stayed through this agency for many years. And when someone says to me, well, listen, help me out, what is community policing? I guess you might even ask that yourself right now. What is community policing? Well, it goes back to the roots. It's the fundamentals. Back in 1829, we attribute 9 principles of policing in America to Sir Robert Peel. Sir Robert Peel's principles of policing was taken from England, and we replicated it here in America, the basic principles. My favorite principle in appealing principles is number 7. The police are the public, and the public are the police. The police are only members of the public that are paid to give full-time attention to the duties which are incumbent upon all of us in the interests of society, welfare, and existence. And to quote my youngest son, that's some cool stuff. If you think about that said in 1829, that police officers, these incredible men and women that are here that are going to be serving in neighborhood roles, and the officers, the Sheriff Chris's people, we're guardians of the peace. But our goal is, like the sheriffs of old would form a posse. We just call those patrol officers. And the role of the community was to help the good sheriff. If the sheriff needed help, we just paying him full time to keep the law and order. But if he needs help, we're all going to be part of that posse. And you would be looked at a little bit differently if you didn't help the sheriff with the posse, because you're part of this community. Well, I think that's what Sir Robert Peel meant, is that the police are the public and the public are the police. We're just paid full time to do something which is incumbent upon all of us. And the late Dr. Trojanowicz said it brilliantly in the 80s when we started having a resurgence into the fundamentals of policing, and we called it community policing, problem-oriented policing. But what we really did was we gave a title to policing again. And so Dr. Trojanowicz at the National Center for Community Policing in Michigan State University said this: community policing, it's a philosophy of the police and the public working together in creative ways to help solve contemporary community problems. We shift the focus of police work from handling random 911 calls to solving the problems that generated the call. And, geez, that makes good sense. That's actually part of the mission statement of the Lima Police Department. Well, if you take those two statements together, ladies and gentlemen, that's policing. And matter of fact, I'd go so far as to say this: if we were able to visit miraculously with Sir Robert Peel and Dr. Trojanowicz, if you would have said to Sir Robert Peel, what we're calling policing, he would call it policing. We call community policing what Sir Robert Peel called policing. It's the fundamentals. And what this center is going to do has already been proven through research to be very effective. Of all the things we look at, what works and what doesn't work, this center works. We know it. You're going to have police officers working with the community directly to help solve contemporary community problems. That's why school resource officers work, because they're dealing with people every day and they're solving problems. The good bonus on a school resource officer, they're professionally healthy. Why? They talk to parents. They talk to a lot of people that like them. It's an amazing thing. You talk to people that appreciate you, you start realizing the overwhelming of people, like the Gallup poll just said, supports their police. I don't know if you happened to see that poll that came out in December. We're at the top of it. Guess who we're with? Trustworthy officers. Guess who we're with? Nurses. My daughter's a nurse. I like hanging out with them. Nurses, high school teachers, pharmacists, doctors, and guess who's right there next? Police officers. Why? Because we're trusted. And we're very, very good at what we do. And we know that. But how do you get the community to work together, as Peel and Trojanowicz said? How do we increase police legitimacy? What's the best training program that you could find? I'm asked sometimes, what's the best training program? What do you recommend to get the police to understand the diversity in the community? What's the best program? We'll bring it in. I have people say to me, how much does it cost? We'll get that program. Where is it? There's a lot of good programs that do that for you. Very good programs that are talking about diversity and talking about working with different groups. But I want to tell you what I believe the research says, and Dr. Johnson says at the University of Toledo, right here in Ohio, the best diversity training program for any police officer, any member of the community, to increase police legitimacy and community legitimacy is what? Cops getting out of cars, spending more times out of cars, citizens getting to know their officers, and having centers just like this. This is the best thing we could do, in my humble opinion. And I want to applaud you for that, Mayor, Chief Martin, and all of you that are here today. This is the fundamentals that make things happen. We're fortunate to have the men and women in policing today that we have, and our sheriffs. Well, they're the best. I'm convinced of it. This is the best decade. If anyone ever wants to be a police officer, this is the time. They're incredible. And it is, once again, dependent upon how close we are with our community and how we work together to both identify and solve problems. Because we've all known this for a long time. You can never wrest your way out of any problem. That's a sign of the last resort. And what we should be doing is solving the problems that generate the calls. So thank you, Chief. Thank you, Mayor, for having me today. And enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Also, I want people to know that we are not just expanding our community policing efforts in Lima by adding another substation. We are, as Chief Dolan mentioned, we are very aware of the fact that we need to be in partnership with this community, and we need to look to build bridges with as many partnerships as possible. I want to appreciate or express my appreciation for Crime Victim Services, and as we mentioned at the last opening, how Crime Victim Services is actually partnering with us in a very direct way. And we're actually currently pursuing another partnership, and I since Mike Shanehofer is not able to be here today, I hope he doesn't mind me mentioning this. But we are we've had discussions with Mike Shanehofer of the Mental Health and Recovery Services Board, as well as representatives from Coleman Behavioral Health Services, to be able to, again, to bring them in to the substations and actually get them out there with the officers as well, meeting people and helping to identify needs and services that they can help to fill. And so again, we are looking at other organizations that we can partner with in those ways. But I would like to emphasize that the most important partnership that we have is with each and every individual living within this community. And it is not without the support of this community that we could ever hope to succeed. It is only with our community supporting us, our community partnering with us, not just collectively, but on an individual basis as well. It is only through those partnerships that we're really going to be able to succeed. Now, with that being mentioned, I'm going to ask Lieutenant Green to come up here. He's going to make a couple of introductions. And also, Keisha, I'm sorry, if you would come on up here as well, because I believe Lieutenant Green has something for you that he would like to give as an expression of our appreciation for the way that you've really opened up Bradfield Center to us.
Good morning. Thanks. I'm Lieutenant Andy Green. I am the lieutenant that is overseeing the community-oriented policing initiative in Lima. I do have some introductions that I want to make, but prior to doing that, I would want to give Miss Drake one of our challenge coins. And I've watched the chief do this several times, so I'm hoping that I'm going to get it right the way that he does it. But this challenge coin, on the front, it has our logo. Around the side, it has our core values of integrity, honor, and valor. And on the back side, it has our mission statement, which in part says that we are working, or our mission is to work in partnership with the community to creatively solve problems related to crime, the fear of crime, and neighborhood decay, and to safeguard the constitutional rights of all. So part of that, the big thing with community policing is that we are going to be working in partnership, and part of the partnership is us coming into your building, you opening your building up to us graciously, and we are very happy to be here, and I just want to thank you. So I want to give you that and ask you if you have a few words you'd like to say.
Thank you to you guys, and to Lieutenant Green, Chief Martin, Mayor. One thing with me being the executive director here is bringing back the legacy of Bradfield and bringing back to the Lima community the values, the core values that I grew up on here in Lima community. So you guys coming in, it's coming back because you guys used to have a police officer here. So it's bringing back the legacy of Bradfield, and I'm hoping by doing this, we're taking that one step that this Lima community needs to come together, to work together, to ensure that our kids out here know that this is a safe place, this is a safe community, and I'm believing that this partnership will bring those values back to the Lima City. Thank you.
Thank you. This is our third substation that we're opening up. We are very excited to be opening this substation. We have two other substations that have already been opened up. The first one was Officer Aaron Rohde's substation in Precinct 2 on Kibbe Street. Officer Aaron Rohde is all the way down here on the end. He has been working very hard in his neighborhood. He's gone through neighborhood surveys to find out what the problems are in his neighborhood to be able to put our resources where they need to be. And he has been doing an excellent job building relationships in that neighborhood. The second substation that opened up was Officer Miracle's substation in the north end. Officer Miracle is right here. He is up on North Metcalf Street at St. Mark's United Methodist Church. You guys remember we just recently opened that. He has been working very hard in that neighborhood, making a lot of relationships. Things are going very well there. We are excited to open this substation. This substation is going to be manned by Officer Justin Wireman, who is right here. And I know he is really itching to get up here and talk, so I'm going to let him come up and introduce himself in just 1 second. But before I do that, I want to make a couple more introductions. This is a team effort that we have put together. So community policing is all of us working together to build relationships within our community. Sergeant Jason Garlock has really helped out in this process. So while I'm up here doing the talking, he is doing the work that actually makes this happen. So I'm very appreciative of Sergeant Garlock, who is right here. Also up here I have Patrolman Nate Garlock, who is school resource officer. So we have included the schools in this program. He is working very hard with all of the city schools to bring community policing into the schools. Back in the back, who is trying to hide, is school resource officer Matt Taylor and soon to be school resource officer Brittany Keith. So they are ready to go to bring community policing into the schools. But without further ado, I'm going to let Officer Wireman come up here and say a few words.
Thank you, Lieutenant Chief. On behalf of myself and the rest of the COP officers, I would like to thank Ms. Drake and the Bradfield Center for allowing us to partnership with them and bring back, like she said, the legacy of this building and make this a nice, safe spot for kids and other community people. I'm looking forward to the challenges and the opportunities that come along with this job, and looking forward to a partnership with the community. Thank you.
Okay, so as not to take too much more of anyone's time, I was actually remiss in not actually introducing Steve Jenkins by name. So if you would please stand and let people see you as well, our representative from Crime Victim Services. And then lastly, I think it's very important that Sheriff Krish, would you like to come up and say a few words? Because again, you know, the lieutenant just mentioned about it being a team effort, and it truly is a team effort, but not just within LPD. You know, it is truly a team of our entire community. Sheriff?
Well, thank you. I just certainly want to just congratulate the city, certainly all for the COP, working with everyone in their community, and you know, I talk about that a lot of times about working together. So as far as the sheriff's office goes, if there's certainly anything that we can do to better the entire community, I mean, we're certainly all for that. And again, couldn't ask for some better officers to be put out in the city. So I think it's a great program. I think we're taking a lot of steps forward. Thank you.
Thanks, Sheriff.
Where's lunch?
You were supposed to bring the donuts. This location is in the 6th Ward, so it's entirely appropriate that Councilor Derry Glenn be invited to make a few remarks.
Yes. First, I'm so happy he's here, and you got a lot of shoes to fill. Scotty Leland, loved by everybody here, and I know you'll do a good job. And any help, I'll be talking to you, meeting with the neighborhood associations, let me know what's going on. But I know you got a lot of shoes, big shoes to fill. But I'm happy that our administration put it together and brought it here. Our chief, everybody worked on it. Sergeant Garlock, thank you guys so much, and also Director, thank you for allowing me to be here. Thank you, man.
Thank you, Mr. Glenn. Lastly, I'll just go back to some ancient history. In 1992 was the first time I met Harry Dolan. Harry was the speaker at the Michigan State University at the time that then Inspector Greg Garlock and Sergeant Matt Albright and Lieutenant Mike Bloss. The four of us were at Michigan State, really challenged by the speakers, but most impressed by the little man that stood in front of us at one point, Harry Dolan, who grew up in the meantime. He moved on from job to job and took the philosophy of community policing to really superior heights in his entire career. So he's been a great asset to us when we launched back in '93. He's been back here one other time, continuing to remind us, as was said earlier, and now again this week has been, along with another colleague, here to not only remind the veterans, but also to train. What is, I think our estimate is that about 60% of the officers are new to the department since the originating days of community policing. So having Harry here, I think, is a huge asset as we get the substations established, all of our officers deployed, and the entire department keyed to this as a philosophy not just a program, but a philosophy of the department. So good work to everybody. Thank you. This is just the beginning for the efforts in the community, and we appreciate everybody's commitment to making community policing live again in our community. So thank you all. We appreciate your being here this morning.